Hi, ever wonder what it's like to work another profession or live in the underworld? Listen to unsuspecting riders give a 10 to 15 minute personal masterclass as I spontaneously interview them as they enter my taxi. I'm your host, Simon Rushton, and this is Taxi Chronicles. Morning. Yes, we're back with another episode, another rider, another story. Today we are honoured to have a member from the Heartradio station, and he's going to tell us about his career and what it takes to be a radio producer. So nice to have you here today, Will.
Thank you, Simon. Yeah, nice to meet you.
Okay, first things first, what kind of person were you when you were in school?
I think I was pretty outgoing, kind of confident, I guess, or a little bit more confident than other people. I guess, yeah, relatively talkative, friendly, pretty standard sort of.
So you was an extrovert, you would say?
Yeah, I think so, especially in going through secondary school. I did a lot of sort of music and drama and stuff like that, so...
Oh, did you say you studied in higher education in music and drama?
No, I actually did a history degree for 3 years when I went to uni, which is completely unrelated to what I do now, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. So when did you first realise that you had a love for being on radio and you wanted to be on the radio?
Well, I think it was actually, going through when I got to sixth form. I used to doing a lot of music stuff. I used to do a bit of sort of sound engineering and sort of live gig stuff. And someone said, "Oh, have you seen? There's a local radio station, the hospital radio station back in Worksop, where I'm from. They're looking for DJs or presenters." And they said, "Oh, you should go check it out. You know, you'll be able to learn the mixing desk a bit more." And if you're interested in sound engineering and stuff, it might be something to do. So anyway, I ended up volunteering there when I was doing sort of my A-levels. And yeah, did that sort of every week pretty much. Went in, put a show together, and just learnt the basics of radio basically.
So you're truly dedicated then. Because that sounds a lot similar to, you ever seen the TV Netflix show Defiance with Dr. Dre, and there's another guy, I can't remember his name, he's like the head of music industry. Well, if you watch that, his story is similar to yours.
Okay, yeah, I've not seen that, but yeah, I know what you mean.
And he got the Apple deal for the Beats headphones.
Ah, I see, yeah.
It's really, you should watch it, it's really good. So, what would you say you've learned throughout your entire career so far that you wish you knew when you started?
That's a good question. I think, especially in the radio industry, it's quite easy when you're starting out to not be aware of burning out, because a lot of people, when they start out in the industry, you start out as a freelance, so you just have to take whatever shift you can get, or usually there's two ways to get into it. You can either go through and get a job. If you want to work in programming as a producer, you might go through and get a job in the post room or anywhere else around the building that gets your foot in the door. I know a couple of people who went and got jobs in sort of like the compliance and legal side of it, and then it just gives them the contacts to be able to build around getting those shifts, those producing shifts. And the other side is if you go through with an internship, if you can find a station that has either, there's usually sort of an internship on a breakfast show, which are quite busy shows, so there's a lot to do, or I think I know a couple of people who've gone through as interns, as music interns, so they'll go and do the music programming side of it, which is scheduling the music and rotation and all that side of it. So
are there degrees in all these subjects, or is it just something you've got to go out there and get work experience?
I think when you're starting out, you've just got to spread your wings as much as possible and see, and kind of take what you can get, really. But it's difficult when you're starting out sometimes the work will be not as busy as it could, and all of a sudden it'll come at once, and then you'll find you can't say no, and that's when you can start to end up working every day, and it's quite easy to burn out. But yeah.
So yeah, but how many hours do you? Because obviously, if you talk on the radio, it's a couple of hours or 2 or 3 hour session, isn't it?
Yeah. So I guess for the presenters, that kind of rings true. So the show I'm working on at the minute, the presenter will come in around about 6 o'clock. They'll do the show for 3.5 hours and then go home at 10, which works fine because the presenters are freelance anyway. But for the producers, there's you usually have a bit of a longer day, so you'll get in slightly earlier to plan what's going to go on air for later. Do the show like a couple of hours, 3 hours, and then you sort of come off air, and then you can start sort of debriefing. Okay, what worked well, what didn't work well, and then you're just constantly looking forward or planning forward to what the next show or the next bit of content you're going to use.
So your job, you could do the same for news or TV then, from what I'm hearing, with your position.
I think there's a lot of crossover, yeah, definitely a lot of crossover.
Have you ever considered that?
Yes, well, I did when I was so I did 3 years of history as an undergraduate, and then I stayed on for a year to do a year in broadcast journalism as a master's degree, which was radio and TV. So there's a bit of mix of both. Okay. Yeah, I think I'd like to try and maybe cross over to TV at some point. Okay. But yeah. Do
you feel that obviously with all these podcasts that radio's numbers are dropping, or is it just the same?
Well, I think actually the last year especially they've been stronger than ever, especially the digital side of listening, because now
stuck at home.
Yeah, and also there's so many ways to listen to the radio now. You know, people, it's not just a case of having a radio. You've got your smart speakers, your Alexas, your Google Nests. You know, we have the global player, so a lot of app listening is happening. And I think when people sort of kind of had a bit of a preconception that radio is a bit of a dying medium, but actually I think the last year, especially with the pandemic, has proved that people have been listening more than ever, because it's a kind of medium which TV can't really do it, because
TV you have to kind of sit down.
Yeah, and it's precision planned, whereas radio, it's one-on-one to the listener, and it's still live, and anything can happen. So there's a bit more jeopardy to it.
So radio there's never a delay in recording. So when it's live, there's not like a 60-second delay of what's going on.
No. When we're live, the FM transmitter and the DAB is dead on. If you're listening on the app, I think there's like a 30-second delay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that purposely? Is it for safety or?
I think just a technological.
Oh, we're not there yet.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's interesting. So you've done 1 degree, but you've done add-on units, and that was in. Remind me again. Your history degree, but you did broadcasting.
Yeah, so I did. When I was doing history degree, I did student radio when I went to uni as well. So I've kind of done it. Yeah.
That's right, because you're young. You look young. And so your position, I suppose, is quite a lot older people get it, unless you're quite.
Yeah, I've been quite lucky to get sort of the producing shifts I've got at the minute. Okay. Definitely, yeah.
Okay, that's good. And so I take it you got the main GCSEs that you needed, the Maths, English, Science.
Yeah.
Above.
Yeah, I got. I'm trying to remember now. So years ago, yeah, Maths, English, Science, and a couple of others. I think, yeah. To be honest, it's weird because a lot of people at the time, you know, when you're doing GCSEs or A-levels or even a degree, it seems like the world is relying on what you're going to get. Like they are important, but also I think I kind of look back now in what I'm doing now, and it's like not a lot of it is relevant, and no one's really ever asked me, oh, you know, he got so and so in this. I think as long as you get what you need, there's a lot of pressure for people to get sort of the top grades. Otherwise, they're worried they're not going to be able to do what they want to do. But yeah, just sort of enjoy the journey.
Yeah, it's all about the journey.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, that's good. Would there be anything you would have done different in your career path?
I guess it's a weird one, because for me it's like I'm still kind of in the early stages of my radio career, so I'm still sort of learning.
You've still done a lot for your. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
24.
So you've still done a lot. You've done your local radio station. You've done what you're doing now, and then you did something in between, broadcasting. Yeah,
that was the master's degree.
Yeah.
Which kind
of. Some other experience as well,
yeah. Yeah, definitely. So, what would I have done differently? I think, to be honest, doing the master's degree was really great and really useful, but that was something which was like a news based around sort of media and journalism based, rather than programming or content side of what I'm doing now. I think looking back, I could have maybe I would have come out of my history degree and tried to get more experience in the industry rather than doing another year at uni. And that's not to say I had a great time doing that degree and loved that year, but yeah, I think definitely in our industry it helps you more to have that hands-on experience rather than the qualifications sometimes, because people will quite often look at a CV, they'll want to say, oh, has he worked at his local station, or has he done any other experience around similar radio stations? And I think even if you start out somewhere where it's like sort of might not be the radio you want to make forever, but it still gives you that platform to get started.
Yeah, you need to compromise at the start to get where you need to get to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I see it, mate. Because everything about you and your success so far, from what I'm hearing, is all about experience. It's mainly more about experience, and that's why I asked that question.
Yeah.
Going back to does Heartradio have a podcast?
So, So Heart's under Global's like family of radio stations.
Okay.
So there's Capital, Heart, Radio X, Gold, Smooth, and LBC.
A real monopoly.
Yeah. It's a real great sort of conglomerate of stations.
Does Rupert Murdoch own all of that?
He doesn't know.
Okay.
It's a different company. So yeah, and part of that is part of Global is Global's original podcast, where they will have certain podcasts aligned to certain brands. So for Heart, for example, we've got I think Vogue Williams has got a podcast with I can't remember the name of the comedian, Joanne McNally, I think, and that's it's called, what's it called? My therapist ghosted me. Which is their part, and that's under the Heart brand. But they've also got, LBC might have a couple of special reports under certain podcasts, and Radio X do a lot of the comedy-based podcasts as well.
What does the future hold for you?
It's again good question. I think everyone is constantly chasing their next gig in radio. So I'm hoping I can stick around a bit longer and find something where I think everyone's in their minds, they have an idea of where they want to be. But as you go through the industry and you work for different stations, that can constantly change. So I went into the industry wanting to be a presenter. So at uni, I was constantly putting demos together and thinking, oh, this is what I want to do. But then I found when I started doing work experience on the producing side of it, I thought, oh, I'm enjoying this a lot more. This is what I want to do. So the more you do and the more you progress through the industry, the clearer idea in your head you'll get of where you want to end up. And to be honest, I'm not quite sure where I'll end up. But like I say, just enjoy the journey, don't rush it, and you'll be fine.
Okay, that's good. You've been a great guest. My last question is to you. What impact do you want to have on the world?
Say again, sorry?
What impact do you want to have on the world?
Impact on the world? I guess... What impact on the world?
Never thought about this.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
Some people say, it's your ultimate goal.
Yeah.
So my ultimate goal is to help children, because I come from children's home. So everything I do should be in line with that at the end of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see what I mean? So if I become a multi-millionaire, I'm a multi-millionaire owning some children's homes and what have you, or running. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
In that influence. So it doesn't have to be business aligned. It could be anything.
Anything, yeah. I guess. Yeah, it's a really good question. It's something you don't really think about, is it? I guess just get yourself into a position where you're enjoy your life, your job. I think, yeah, it'd be nice to be sort of in a position where eventually, you can help other people come through the industry and start to get, their foot in the door, and you can watch people kind of follow the same journey you did. But yeah, I want to. I mean, COVID's kind of put it off a lot the last year. I want to do a lot more travelling around the world, see the world, and just do all that, carry on doing the radio stuff, and just see what comes.
Okay, well, thanks a lot for that.
Thank you, mate. Thank you,
Simon. We wish you well. And what radio station is it? Heart?
Heart.
Okay then. We hope you liked that interview. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to get the latest daily episode. Ever considered investing in the continent with the fastest growing economy and population on Earth? The same continent that holds 30% of the world's known natural resources? Then listen to our sister podcast, Africa Investor Stories, where you will hear real investors with real stories from around the world share their experience of investing in Africa. We post Monday and Thursday at 10 a.m.